Hi guys, Ryan from Niche Facts, and today I'm going to show you how you can order really high quality native English content from one of my favorite article writing services called HireWriters. So in this review, I'm going to actually order some content so you can see what the process looks like. But first, just a little bit about HireWriters. So they're a self-managed marketplace. So you create an account and there's a link in the description. It's an affiliate link, so if you sign up, I get a commission based on the orders that you place. But anyway, once you sign up, it's very easy to place these content requests inside their dashboard. And the reason why I like it is because the pricing is really reasonable, and all of the writers are actually either American or British English native speakers, or at least fluent speakers. So you're not getting like spammy Indian English content, which a lot of these writing platforms will do that just to keep the costs lower. So you can see I do have $137 in the account. I am actively using HireWriters, for mostly SEO content. It's decent, it's good quality. Let's put it that way. So in terms of why I like it, like I said, it really comes down to the pricing. So right now, I generally order from this category right here, the 1,000 to 2,000 word category. And then in terms of the skill level, I'm getting doing 1190 or 1440. So just for some perspective, like if I were on Upwork trying to recruit a freelance writer, I would look to hire someone, say $6 for 500 words. And you can see basically you're getting $6.90 for 500 to 700 words. So whenever I get these back, like say I ordered from this category 1,000 to 2,000 words, like maybe I'll get 1,200 words. I'll at least get over 1,000, and that's a very good deal. Because usually, to get native English writers, it's at that rate it's actually very surprising. I'm not even actually recruiting native English. It's very hard, let me put it that way, to recruit native English writers at a rate of $7 for 500 or $6 for 500, let alone the extra that you get, because they'll write maybe 600 for 690. So that's really what makes it unique. So if you head over to my post, and I also have a link in the description for this, I list out why I like it, how I'm using it. So I give you this sort of layout here. It's pretty basic, nothing that complicated to do. I also list out some of the other things that I like about it. So in terms of what I like I already mentioned, pricing is amazing. Quality is really good. I haven't rejected any writing as of yet, as opposed to iWriter, where, it's often like 30% of the content I get back, I have to either reject outright or ask them to do a rewrite on it. The other thing I like about it is that when you make a request in here in the special instructions section, you're able to link out, which is really good for me because I put all of my project guidelines inside of a Google Doc, and then I generate this shareable link. So then it makes it really easy. I could just say, follow the writing guidelines right here, instead of, pasting in 1,500 words. And then if I did that, I would lose all of these images that I put in here. And I put these screen captures to make it so the writers are doing keyword research in this instance. So that's one thing. Another really underrated aspect, I've used every single content brokerage service that's out there, and a lot of them will not let you link out for whatever reason. Other thing I like, and they do plagiarism detection. So they say that they use the Copyscape API to check all the content before it's submitted to you. I recommend, spot checking it. Maybe just create a Copyscape account and fund it with $5, and you can get a ton of searches just off the $5. So it's always good to just make sure that you're spot checking the content as you receive it every so often, just to make sure that nothing slips by. Maybe the Copyscape API is malfunctioned or whatever. The one thing I don't like, the user interface is a little bit old. This is very internet circa 2005, but it's really not that big a deal. It doesn't make it difficult to use. A lot of these article writing services kind of have backends that look a little bit dated, and that doesn't really matter that much. The other interesting thing, HireWriters does have an affiliate program. So if you like it, you can sign up, and they give you $5 for each client you refer. That makes a deposit, and then you get 50% of the future net profits. So that's pretty good. It's a recurring affiliate program. So if you have an internet marketing blog, or you just have friends that you think you can recommend this to, just email them. It's easy to join. There's a link right over here in the post. Other thing I just wanted to touch on before I order some content is that I published in my HireWriters review one of my writing guidelines. So you could actually download this right over here. You click download, and basically, like, I've spent a lot of time figuring out the best way to request content. At least for me, this is a really good strategy because it teaches the writers how to do the keyword research. So in this instance, I used this example of like a weeping cherry tree. So if I wanted content on that, instead of me spending 15 to 20 minutes doing keyword research and saying, okay, here's an introduction, here's the different concepts that I want included, I teach them, here's how you use Google Auto-Suggest. Here's how you pick off some of these different concepts and include it in the article that you write. I show them how to use Uber Suggest, which is free. So it's something that they can use without any cost. I give them an example of some structure, how some content is structured based on this process. So this won't work for every single use case, but for me, one of my sites, like, this makes it so simple. I'm just like, okay, here's a keyword I want. Let me just get 1,500 words on this and just send them this document and they can just create it. Another thing I link out to, I show them I make them create a free Grammarly account so that they can spot check grammatical issues and punctuation errors. That's really nice. And also a keyword density tool. So I don't want them sending me something with 5% keyword density. You don't want the content to be over optimized. So generally I try to keep it below 2%. Actually, there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. I say 2%, 1.5%. But yeah, basically say keep it below 2% because this particular tool doesn't report on it just goes by percentages, doesn't split them up into 0.5. So keep it below 2%. You'll probably be fine. Not a big deal. So now that I've covered that, I figured it would make sense to place an actual order. So I have some content that I want to have created. So it's what is a dream tent? And that's just dream. Excuse me. Dream tent is like a weird little product. You can see what it is over here, just for your edification. So it's like a little tiny cavern that a child can live. I don't know how to say it. Like a little caravan tent for sleeping purposes. So say I want some content on that. So I'd say, okay, what is a dream tent? I would select the article category. Let's put it arts and crafts, article length. I like it 1,000 to 2,000 words. English American, that's good for me. Writers, time limit, 1 day, I like, very fast. Sometimes I've had writers request, I need a little bit more time. And if that happens, you get an email inside, you get an email, you get notified, so you log in and you can extend the time limit, which is not a big deal. And I do like that. I found a lot of writers will actually message me, which is really good because that means that they're actually invested in the outcome and they want to produce a quality result, as opposed to some other platforms where it's very anonymous. I don't want to call out iWriter particularly, but sometimes that's what happens with iWriter. It's just such a content farm. They're pushing out so much content. There really isn't a great deal of care and effort oftentimes going in, especially if you're not ordering at the higher quality levels. But comparatively, in terms of, say, between iWriter and HireWriter, for the same amount of money, you're getting, I feel, a bit more care and effort going into the content. Plus, since they're really working with native English speakers and writers, it's going to be a better piece of content. So, skilled writers, I generally hire from there. You can see right now the price is $14.40. If I were to go to expert, it'll go to $32. That's a big jump for me. And it could make sense for you to hire from that category. So you may have to experiment a little bit, depending on the sort of content that you're publishing and your editorial guidelines. But generally, I like skilled writers, so I only want one article quantity. The article tone, I like to keep it friendly. For this is good. Green tent. Then I put in this. Please follow the writing guidelines here, and then I just take I copy the link, paste it in. And then it looks good to go at 1440. What is a dream tent? Okay, it looks good. Submit job. So there you go. My project's been created. And then when it's finished, I'm going to get a notification. So I'm going to pause the video in a bit and then just resume it once that I've received the content back. But one other thing I just wanted to highlight quickly, other interesting feature is that you can search writers and then basically build up your own kind of army of content creators, which is really good. And I also like that they include photos. Like a lot of these platforms are very anonymous. So I feel like the fact that they have, you know, photos for each person, and it really decreases the anonymity of it. It makes it a bit more personal. I feel like that increases the quality of the output that you get back. So they have a lot of filtering options here. So if I were in a particular industry, say that I really cared about aviation, you know, for instance, that's something that I wanted to have writers for that specific experience. You know, you can just, oh, they don't have pictures for everybody. Maybe I spoke too soon, but maybe because this is very niche, there's a picture, for instance. But aviation looks to be a very niche type of thing. But I mean, you can see what I mean. Like, you could really build out, you could hire these individual writers, you can send them a message, you can add them to your favorites. So then when you go to order content, you could actually order articles specifically from individual writers, invite writers to private job. So see right here, it says select from writers that have set to favorite status. So you can go over here, you could favorite a bunch of people that you think look good, and that way you'll have your own little army of content writers. I haven't started doing that yet. I've basically just been placing these article requests, and then the content I've been getting back has been really good, but I've also been favoriting people and rejecting some other ones as I go along, just to kind of increase the quality of return that I'm getting. So one last thing before I pause the video and just wait for the content to be returned to me. There's actually a bunch of different types of content that you could order. So you can order articles, rewritten articles, a Facebook fan page post is a little bit dated, data entry work, transcriptions, poetry, which I don't know who would order poetry from this, but you never know. Or you can order an ebook. That's, you know, obviously if you're watching this video, you're most likely going to be using the order articles. That makes the most sense. So I'm going to pause the video now. When I resume it, I'll have the finished content. Hopefully it looks good, and we'll review it together and see what we think. Okay, see you in a second. And now we're back, and I received an email from HireWriters that I needed to approve an article, and that's the one that I had submitted. So you'll click the button to log in. I've already logged in just to expedite matters. And so you'll be in your dashboard here, and you'll see kind of all your stats. So right here, I see I got two that require approval. I have one from before that I didn't highlight in this video, but I'm going to take a look at the one that I did request, and we'll see what we think of it. So here it is. What is a dream tent? And then you get a bunch of stats over here just summarizing the order. And then you see the author is right there. There's an auto-approve timer here. So in 70 hours, this would automatically be approved and the writer will get the funds. So I'll click into review. And so I got 1,072 words. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Even children sometimes need a space to get away and have some privacy. A space they can really call their own and have some peace and quiet to read or play a game on their tablet. Dream tents are a simple solution to this problem with quick pop-up and fasten features that even a child can handle by themselves. So right away, that reads pretty well to me. You know, I'm not exactly publishing, you know, Shakespearean sonnets online. So in terms of ranking, like, I think this is pretty clearly written. Sometimes I'll get stuff like this back. You know, I'll get 1,000 words back, and then I'll add my own introduction onto it, just because, you know, when someone lands on your website, they're going to read the first sentence, and if it's not great, if it's not like really clear, or if it's betraying, you know, idiomatic errors that make it seem like it's not written in by a native English writer, like, they'll just bounce. So So it's really important that the introduction is good. So sometimes I add my own, but in this case, the introduction is pretty good. I'm inclined to keep it when I publish it on a website. With this inexpensive solution, any child can have a tiny world of their own, get away from siblings for some quality need. This is really well written. And then I'm just looking just to see if they've followed the guidelines that I had in the writer document. So like in my document, I outline like, okay, have a section for buyer feedback. So this is what makes a product review useful. There'll be a section here that they kind of like show what are buyers saying about these tents. And then here's a section, what is a dream tent? A dream tent is a small tent that covers the child's bed to give them a fun and private space to read or play games. Okay. And then there's some keyword sections here: glow, light, unicorn, full-size bed. So these are kind of like the type-ahead stuff that I showed you in the training document. That they're doing some keyword research using the auto suggest. So I like that. If your child, and then another thing I always recommend is like make sure you read through the bottom as well. Sometimes I've found articles start off really well, and then all of a sudden, like, the bottom is just full of a bunch of spammy garbage. Like, they just figured you'll auto-approve if you see the first sentence is good. So just read the bottom. Some of the same unverified websites claiming to be the official website of the company, also advertising covers that will fit full-size beds seems to be playing. So, it's pretty good. I like it. And so, now that I like it, I can fire this writer, which I'm not going to do. Which would, I guess, I've never used this option, which I guess would mean that I would completely reject this, and I don't know if I'd have to recreate the order or whether it would go back into the queue automatically. You can request a revision, that way you could write something like, whatever you would want them to revise, and then they get some extra time to apply your fixes. But in this case, I'm going to accept it. I think it's pretty good. So now I have the option of rating them, leaving feedback, leaving a tip. So I thought this writer was pretty good. So I'm just going to continue. And now this pop-up appears, and then you use this link to go to the download content, download articles section. So now here it is, and if you click download, it goes into the zip file, which is somewhat annoying. I'd rather just download as a document, because then the zip file stuff can be kind of annoying. So here it is. So now I have it as a Word document. Okay. There it is. That's pretty good. The other thing is they have a download with spin, which if you're familiar with spin tax, basically it's a way of like auto-generating lots of different articles by placing synonyms in it, which is kind of like an old world SEO, kind of black hat, gray hat strategy that kind of strange to see inside of here. But I mean, that's a lot of people probably appreciate getting a spun version, because theoretically you could reuse the content on other websites, and it'll be somewhat unique because some of the synonyms have been swapped out. But I don't do that. Everything I'm publishing is unique. So that's basically it. Now I've approved this. You can click into the author. I'm not sure if I've already saved this author as a favorite. Oh, so you can see her picture, which is pretty good. Send message, add notes. So actually, I liked her, so I'll add her to favorites. Oh, see, she was already in my favorites. So when I receive the writing back, usually there's an option to favorite the writer. And I didn't see it this time, but that was because I had already favorited them. So this was good. I would definitely hire her again, and now the content is ready to be uploaded to the site. So that, in a nutshell, is how I use it. It's pretty simple. Right now, it's my go-to article writing service for all the reasons that I outlined. I think it's offering really good rates on American English writing. And as I sort of said in the beginning, like if you were to try to recruit an American English writer for 500 words, I mean, it's all over the board. You know, I would say probably the lowest you can get on Upwork for American English, like a native-born American, would be maybe $10 for 500 words, which is 20 for 1,000. And as you see with this, I'm getting, this was, you know, 1440 or whatever it was. Oh, that's a different article. But yeah, that was, yeah, I think that was 1440. So that was a really good deal. Even finding somebody for $10 or 500, that's pretty low. When I mentioned before getting writers for, or English writers for say $6 or 500 words, 12 for 1,000, those are Eastern European writers for the most part. So I really can recommend this unequivocally. I think it's a very good deal. Definitely a value option within the article writing space. So there are links in the description. I am an affiliate for HireWriters. I'm also an affiliate for iWriter. But as you can see, I'm actually, you know, using the service. You see me order from it. I like it. So if you're interested in building out a niche site, this is a really good option to get content. So just, if you're interested in building out a niche site, like on my site, if you head over to niches, I highlight a bunch of different styles of site, different types of niches that you can get into. Recently, I did a post on parking affiliate programs. This was a really interesting niche. Basically, you're ranking for all these parking queries that are done online. You know, when you go to a sports event, people are typing in, like I'm a big Knicks fan, so people are typing in like Madison Square Garden parking, New York Knicks parking. So ranking for stuff like that and using affiliate programs within the parking affiliate, I don't want to say space because it's parking space, but yeah, in the parking affiliate space niche, there's tons. There's not that many, but there's a couple of affiliate programs you can join if you want to monetize parking. I did an interesting one on ranking for prison terms, like, you know, ranking for criminals' names, things like that. It's a really interesting niche. I did a report on the psychic niche, monetizing astrology, tarot, and afterlife communications. There's some really interesting stuff inside of the psychic niche. So if you're struggling to come up with an idea, or maybe you already have a site and you want to do something completely different, maybe you're running an Amazon affiliate site and you're just incredibly bored of writing product reviews and you want to tackle something that's different, more interesting to you, that's really what I profile here in these niche reports. So that is my review of HireWriters. There are some links in the description if you want to head over and sign up. I'd really appreciate it. I would get a small commission if you sign up and place an order. And let me know if you have any questions. You can head over to my site. If you want to email me, it's ryan@nichefacts.com. And that is it for this review. Until the next video. Thanks. Bye.